No way. Did he actually say it? Guys, it is Wednesday, April the 30th, and, well, for the first time ever, President Donald J. Trump, he just made it official, and it's sending shockwaves across America. No more income tax for the middle class. Zero. Gone. Wiped out. Now, this is not a rumor. This is not a leak. It's a full-blown declaration, straight from the man himself. President Trump posted publicly for the world to see. And if this actually happens, well, it could be the most radical transformation of the U.S. tax system in over 100 years. But of course, the media, they're already panicking, guys. The Democrats, they're screaming impeachment, and the establishment, they're terrified. Why? Because if you don't need to give Uncle Sam a chunk of your hard-earned paycheck anymore, then their entire power structure falls apart. And they hate that. They're panicking. And what President Trump posted on Truth Social, that's got DC in a meltdown. Oh, we need to talk about that, guys. We're also going to talk about why Democrats, they're saying that they will impeach Trump again just for proposing it. And how Los Angeles, the high tax capital of the country, they're now collapsing under their own weight with massive layoffs, homelessness, and a $1 billion deficit, guys. While states with zero income tax like Florida, they're thriving. So wait until you hear what the media said when the stock market bounced back last week after weeks and weeks of fear-mongering from the Great Depression. You don't want to miss this, guys. In fact, this episode will change everything, the way you see taxes, power, and who's really fighting for the Americans. So buckle up, guys, because this is the episode that they do not want you to see. Now, stick with me, because what we're about to talk about next is going to leave you speechless. If you guys appreciate the daily news updates, please take a second, hit the like button for the video, and subscribe to the channel. So let's go ahead and start with this whole bombshell that is flipping the establishment upside down. So Donald Trump has officially declared no more income tax on the middle class. Now, this isn't some campaign fluff. This isn't speculation. This is a formal statement directly from President Trump on Truth Social, and it's lighting the entire internet on fire. So he wrote, when tariffs cut in, many people's income taxes will be substantially reduced, meaning maybe even completely eliminated. And he's putting a number on this thing, guys. If you make under $200,000 a year, and let me know if this is you, because I think that this is going to include a large part of most people, including people who are watching the show every day. Do you make less than $200,000 a year? Just drop a quick yes or no in the comments down below, guys, because Trump is saying if you make under $200,000 a year, you will or may soon pay zero federal income tax. Now, to me, I feel like that's like most people. Like, most people make less than $200,000 a year, I think. But here's where it gets even more radical, guys. Trump's not just talking about cutting taxes anymore. He's actually talking about replacing the IRS entirely. Is anybody a fan of the IRS, or would you rather see the IRS just disappear? So that's right, guys. Out with the old Internal Revenue Service and in with what he's calling the new External Revenue Service. So how would this work, right? Well, through these tariffs, not taxes on your income, this is a 100-year reversal on pretty much everything that the government's relied on for power and for control. They never needed this. They just wanted more control. They wanted more power over the average American. They wanted America to be slaves to the government that is actually supposed to be working for the people. But don't even get me started on that. And according to President Trump, this new system is already creating jobs. Factories are being built. Plants are coming online. He's calling it a bonanza for America. Now, I love the sound of that. What about you guys? And get this, guys. Republicans are already testing the rally cry. Yep, that's right, guys. Middle class, no tax. And it might just be the most powerful campaign slogan that we've seen in a generation. But there's always a twist. So while Trump is out here proposing freedom from federal income taxes, the other side, the Democrats, they've got a very different plan in mind. So stick with me, because What you're about to hear, this is going to make your jaw drop, guys. Now, you've worked your entire life. You deserve a Medicare plan that works for you, not one that drains your wallet and your bank account. Guys, that's why Chapter exists. They're not tied to a few plans. Chapter reviews every option to save you money. They keep your doctors, they maximize your benefits. Hey, Julie in Kansas saved $400 a year. Jamie in Texas, $600 right back in her Social Security. Chapter was founded by people who refused to let their own parents get ripped off. And now they're doing everything in their power to help families everywhere. There's no cost. It's totally free. There's no pressure, just real help. So give my friends over at Chapter a call. Their phone number is 909-563-8279, or you can hit the link in the description down below this video, askchapter.org/Ron, to get what you deserve. So, guys, you would think with President Trump dropping a plan like this with no income taxes for millions of Americans that the other side would try to match it with something equally bold, maybe even something better, maybe cheaper health care, right? Maybe energy independence, something like that, right? No, they didn't do that. The Democrats, they have one big promise for the next election, and it's not for you. Their entire plan, impeach Donald Trump. Again, that's it. Let that sink in, guys. They ain't worried about me and you. They're not worried about trying to make our lives any better. Trump is out here trying to cut your taxes to zero. Meanwhile, Democrats are out here trying to punish him for it. You can't make this stuff up, right? I mean, we got clips from Democratic leaders and activists, even senators, flat out admitting that impeachment is their top priority if they take the House back. No vision, no policy, just rage and revenge. It's terrible. And even liberal voters, they're starting to question this madness. Because how do you sell impeachment to American people? The very American people that voted for President Trump, right? On top of it, right? Meanwhile, Trump is offering them tax freedom. Like, why would you, like, who would choose impeach Trump over not having to pay any more taxes? Like, you'd have to be a blithering idiot to choose that. So I think the contrast is sharper than ever before, and it's sending shockwaves through both parties, Democrats and Republicans alike. But believe it or not, guys, that's not even the wildest part of this story. In just a minute, I want to walk you guys through an explosive list of everything that Trump's accomplished in just his first 97 days in office. And actually, heck, let's go over the first 100 days. And how it's leaving the media and the left scrambling for damage control. You're going to want to hear every word of this, guys. I promise you. So what exactly has Trump accomplished in his first 100 days that's got both the media and the Democrats in absolute panic mode? Well, in about 100 days, Trump has secured the border, not just talking about it, but real change. He's ended multiple wars, peace through strength. He's kicked China out of the Panama Canal. Yes, you heard that right, guys. He's dropped the cost of energy to just $3 a barrel. This is a slap in the face to Biden's gas price disaster. He's banned men from competing in women's sports, restoring fairness nationwide. He's ripped DEI out of the federal government, dismantling woke bureaucracy from the inside out. He's exposed massive fraud and waste in Washington and created something called DOGE, also known as the Government Efficiency or the Department of Government Efficiency, to clean this thing up. But here's the kicker. All of this in about 100 days. That's less than 1/3 of 1 year, folks. So imagine what happens by day 200, by day 365. Well, he's bulldozing it. And yet, while he's out here producing real results, measurable wins for Americans, Democrats are busy planning their next impeachment hearing for Trump. But before we talk about how Democrats are reacting to these wins, we've got to zoom out and ask ourselves, why was Trump's next tax plan even necessary? Now, to understand that, we have to kind of go back about a century to a time when the federal government couldn't touch your paycheck. That's right, guys. Believe it or not, there was a time when income tax was illegal. Do you guys remember that? If you think income tax should be illegal today, just type illegal in the comments. Now, let's do a little Michael J. Fox and go back in time to 1913. The idea of the federal government taking your income was unthinkable, even unconstitutional. The founders never intended for Washington to dip into your paycheck. But then came Teddy Roosevelt and a massive lobbying push from elites who saw an opportunity. They convinced Congress to amend the Constitution with the promise that income taxes would only apply to the rich. You heard that one before, right? Oh, it's just going to be a little modest tax on the wealthy only. Sound familiar? Yeah. Fast forward 100 years, and now everyone's paying income taxes, from waitresses to truck drivers, nurses, small business owners. That original promise, they completely broke it. Now, Trump is saying this. Enough. Let's go back to a tariff-based system, the way that this country used to operate. Instead of punishing people for working hard and earning money, we tax imports and global competitors. We keep more money in American families' pockets. What do you guys think about that? I know it's a revolutionary idea, but it's going back to the Constitution. But of course, Democrats, they're livid. Why? Well, if the American people, think about this, guys. If the American people realize that they didn't need income taxes all along, they'll start questioning everything. They'll start... Hey, and speaking of democratic rage, you're not going to believe what they're already threatening to do if they get back in power just because of this tax plan. So stay tuned, guys, because in this next session, I need to break this down for you guys. We're going to show you this explosive backlash from Democratic leaders and the unhinged impeachment talk that is dominating their entire platform at this point. Also, how Democrats, reacting to Trump's plan to eliminate federal income taxes for the middle class. Yes. So these Democrats are completely furious about Trump's plan to eliminate federal income tax on the middle class. But we're going to talk about this. They're not debating the policy. They're not offering any kind of alternatives. They're just threatening to impeach Trump again. Can you believe this? This is their reaction. Like, Americans should be outraged that anyone who is against Trump trying to eliminate taxes, right? Clips are surfacing left and right from town hall meetings and rallies where activists are literally begging Democrat lawmakers to impeach Trump again. Not because of any crime, but because he's winning. Isn't that desperate? Isn't that horrible, folks? So you got people out here yelling, we need him impeached. Remove him. Do something brave. Then, of course, you got Senator John Ossoff, who was cornered at a town hall, pressured to make impeachment a top priority. John Ossoff's response? He said, basically, a vague hedging, but not really a flat out no. Even top Democrats are admitting it on camera. If we take the House, that's how we'll make it happen. Now, let me ask you guys, what kind of platform is that? Trump's talking about eliminating taxes, guys. Democrats are talking about eliminating Trump. Like they really, as they always have been, trying to eliminate Trump. And they wonder why voters are waking up. But it gets even more tone deaf when you see what basically the elite political class was doing just a few days ago. While the average American was struggling with layoffs, inflation, and high taxes, that's where the White House Correspondents' Dinner comes in, guys. And we actually are going to go in on that. You're going to understand what happened there. And it's bad. So while Trump was working on tax reform, border security, and peace abroad, the DC elites, they were throwing themselves a party. The annual White House Correspondents' Dinner. This is a black tie celebration of themselves, patting themselves on the back. They're packed with the celebrities and journalists and bureaucrats just sipping very expensive champagne, patting each other on the back for doing nothing. And guess who didn't show up? President Trump. He skipped it on purpose, sending a strong message that he's not here to rub elbows with the media elite. And maybe that's why they're so desperate to take him down, because he can't be bought. He doesn't give a crap about them. Because the one moment of honesty in the entire night, it actually came from Axios reporter by the name of Alex Thompson, who actually had the courage to admit something that the media has been hiding for years, that they've been deliberately ignored. They've basically deliberately ignored Joe Biden's mental decline, that they failed to cover the truth for years, and that trust in media is collapsing because, well, they earned it. This is what he said. Being truth tellers also means telling the truth about ourselves. We missed a lot of this story, and people trust us less because of it. Now, I'm really impressed that he came out and said this. It took a lot of courage, a lot of balls. I mean, but here's the wild part. That speech, can you imagine how well it went over in that room? I'll just tell you, it didn't go over very well. You could feel the tension because deep down, they knew that they had been caught. And yet, despite the moment of self-reflection, the media continues to push these fake narratives, which brings us to what they've been doing with the stock market lately and how they're playing games with your perception of the economy. So stick with me, guys, because I'm going to break down how the media weaponized a temporary market dip to attack Trump. And they went completely silent the moment the stock market bounced back. And you're not going to believe how deep the manipulation goes. So let's talk about the stock market just for a second and the massive media manipulation that's happening right before our very eyes. Now, over the last couple of weeks, the media has been in full-blown panic mode, blasting headlines like worst April for stocks since the Great Depression. They hammered that fear narrative every single day to Americans. CNN, MSNBC, the usual suspects, all warning of doom and gloom and collapse. But then something miraculous happened. The stock market bounced back. Not just a little bit, a full 4% to 7% rebound. The S&P soared. The S&P roared back, the NASDAQ surged, investor confidence just started rising again. So what did the media do? Crickets, total silence. There was no headlines about the recovery. There were no updates, no, oops, my bad, we were wrong. And that's not an accident, folks. Trump's Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, he called them out on air, exposing how the media has been cherry-picking what they want to report to sabotage Trump's momentum. He said this, 10 days ago, the story was worst market since the Great Depression. Now we've had one of the biggest April stock market rebounds ever, and they won't cover it. Why? Because if they report good news during a Trump presidency, it shatters their narrative. You see what's happening, guys? But here's where it gets even dirtier. They're not just ignoring Trump's wins. They're now creating an entirely new playbook to erase them completely. And the strategy behind it all? It's finally been exposed. Well, enter David Sachs, co-host of the All In podcast and Silicon Valley investor. He just pulled back the curtain on exactly how the mainstream media is playing the game. And trust me, guys, it's about as sneaky as it gets. He explained that the media's new tactic is very simple. If something goes wrong, blame Trump. If anything goes right, give credit to someone else. Seriously, if the markets crash, basically it's Trump's failure. If the markets recover, suddenly it's all thanks to Scott Bessent or some random Fed report. Yep. Sachs put it this way. No one ever wants to give Trump or his administration credit. So instead, they valorize a specific member of the team. Then they basically tear that person down the following week. So that's what they're doing. It's like a rotation. It's like a rotating blame and bury strategy. And it's working because most people, they never realize that they're being psychologically manipulated. They're slowly teaching the public that Trump's victories don't count, while amplifying any kind of subtle stumble to the extent that it's like making the American people feel like it's the end of the world. But here's the truth, guys. Trump's team is winning, and the media knows it. That's why they're trying to bury the story of basically tax freedom. They're trying to bury the story of market recovery and of general government reform. And in just a minute, I want to show you guys the real world consequences of failed leadership from the other side, starting with what's happening right now in Los Angeles. Now, stick with me, guys, because we're going to expose how California's top liberal-run city just blew $1 billion hole in their own budget, and they're now laying off firefighters and police officers. Yes, guys, it is happening in the highest tax state in the country. So while Trump is out here proposing no taxes for the middle class and fixing the economy, what's happening in the bluest of blue cities? Absolute total financial collapse, guys. In Los Angeles, run by Democratic Mayor Karen Bass, they've just admitted that they're staring down a $1 billion deficit. I know. Let that sink in for a moment. So here we have, guys, we got California, the state with some of the highest taxes in the absolute nation. They're running out of money. So what's their solution? Layoffs. 1,600 city workers are losing their jobs, including police officers, firefighters, and they're building, and not to mention the building safety officials. In a city that's dealing with crime, homelessness, and drug overdoses, their solution is to fire the people who keep it safe. Is Karen Bass a complete idiot? And remember, guys, this is the same state where residents pay up to 15% in state income tax on top of what they are already giving to the feds. So where's all that money going? Is someone stealing that money from tax-paying citizens? Even local officials are pushing back, demanding answers, saying, we need to know where the money's being spent. This is irresponsible. The mayor's office is wasting taxpayer dollars. It's complete chaos, the exact opposite of what Trump is trying to do. And yet, somehow, they still claim that they're doing a great job. Now, guys, this really kind of leads me to the next part of this whole madness thing here. Because despite the layoffs, Mayor Karen Bass says she's solving homelessness in LA. How is this possible? Mayor Karen Bass is now touting the success of a program called We Are LA, saying it's finally solving LA's homelessness problem. She claims they've secured vouchers for every homeless veteran in the city. And yes, there are some individual success stories. Well, I'm not going to be like mainstream liberal media hiding any successes, right? I'm not going to do that. One veteran actually got a double room with meals included. Another woman avoided eviction thanks to legal help. That is good news. But here's the problem. The broader situation's still out of control, and it's getting worse. They're celebrating small victories while they're ignoring the $800 million deficit that's hanging over their heads like a wrecking ball. But how do you run a state with sky-high income taxes and somehow you still can't balance a budget? Meanwhile, in states like Florida with zero state income tax, they're running a surplus. How the heck is that possible? Well, it's because the Florida versus California comparison right now might just blow that whole debate wide open. So stick around with me, guys, because I'm about to expose the shocking difference between high tax, failing states like California and no tax, booming states like Florida. The same state where Trump just so happens to live. So how is Florida one of the few states with zero income tax running a surplus, while California, the highest tax state in America, is spiraling into layoffs and $1 billion hole? It makes no sense, right? Unless you realize the truth. It's not about how much the government collects. It's about how wisely it spends it. In Florida, leaders are prioritizing public safety, fiscal discipline, and economic growth. So in Florida, they're bleeding money on failed programs, mismanagement, and bloated bureaucracy. Let's be clear, guys. Californians pay up to 15% more in state income tax. They're taxed on top of federal income, gas taxes, property taxes, fees. It just goes on and on and on and on. It doesn't stop. Yet their streets are overrun with crime and homelessness, where basic city services are being gutted. Meanwhile, Florida, they're thriving with no income tax, attracting record numbers of families and businesses. They're running budget surpluses year after year after year. This is the vision that President Trump is now laying out for the entire country. A system where you keep what you earn, where Washington doesn't punish productivity, and where the working and middle class aren't treated like ATMs for political gains. And this is what the Trump tax plan is all about. That's what middle class no tax really means. And that's exactly why the media and Democrats are losing their minds, because if the idea of this spreads, if Americans wake up and they say, hey, wait a second, we don't need to be taxed like this, then the entire political power structure in Washington, D.C. collapses, and they know it. So now you know the truth, guys. President Trump isn't just talking about tax cuts. He's talking about liberating the middle class from the IRS. And while Democrats are threatening impeachment and California fires are firing their firefighters, President Trump is building a new system from the ground up. So the question is, will America choose freedom? Will America choose freedom or fear? That's the real question. Now, if you guys found this video a little bit eye-opening, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs to be informed. Share it with someone who's also sick of being overtaxed and underrepresented. Drop me a quick comment down below. Let me know, do you support Trump's plan to eliminate income tax for the middle class? And if you do, drop a quick 47 down below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.